Alrighty guys, how's it going? It's me, Logan ISL, with a rather unscheduled upload. Today we're going to be doing an unscripted rant, because I really feel like that this is a very important topic that I think I should be down to earth with, and that I should be very honest and just straight up with it, rather than scripting it and doing all that stuff. So we're going to be going ahead and doing pretty much the same thing I did for my final stretch video, for those of you who watched that a while ago, but this time with a little bit of a different topic. I do feel like this is an important issue to discuss, so because of that, I am actually going to push back the Zone 5 video again to Monday. No matter what, that video is coming out on Monday. So, I just want to say that now. That video is, no matter what, it's coming out on Monday. So, I hope you guys are excited for that. But this video, we're talking about Paradise Atoll again. I know, this is like the third video on Paradise Atoll in like a little over a week, but there's going to be a lot more, so I'm sorry, you're going to probably be bored of Paradise Atoll by when I am done making videos of it. But, this time we're going to be talking about Paradise Atoll's crappy track record, and how the Atoll team made it even worse. So, for those of you who do not know, Paradise Atoll, even though I predicted it to come out the 24th, I think it was, it actually came out this Wednesday. And, oh boy, let's just say release day for Paradise Atoll was extremely funny. There were multiple bugs that were rather unexcusable, like really unexcusable bugs somehow that never got fixed, which is extremely hilarious, but you know, that's the way it goes. So, Paradise Atoll's release was really bad. And because of this very buggy release, the Atoll community was harshly criticizing the staff team for it, and actually because of that, having a negative opinion on the actual sub-realm itself, which I find rather dumb, that, oh, just because of a very buggy release, I now have this very unpopular, or not very unpopular, very, dumb opinion in a way. I guess I could say dumb, I don't know. Rather not well thought out opinion of Paradise Atoll. But Paradise Atoll, the sub-realm itself, has not gained too much praise. Many people believe that the steeples were design and creativity over gameplay, which I definitely do believe playing through Paradise Atoll. I've currently made it all the way up to Dusty Dunes on the original difficulty chart. I've done everything up to Dusty Dunes. Actually, technically, Desolate Isles. So, under the old chart, I think you can see where this is going here. I was all the way up there, so. Oh boy. So, what did the Atoll team do this time to completely mess over Paradise Atoll? Well, they thought the difficulty chart that was originally in Paradise Atoll wasn't accurate. So, they decided that they were going to go ahead and try and fix it up. Which is understandable. There were some very inaccurate difficulties in Paradise Atoll. But the thing is, try not to laugh when you see this. This is not a joke. This is the new official difficulty chart for Paradise Atoll. I am trying so hard not to laugh just looking at it. This has got to be a joke. Like, I genuinely believe this has to be a joke. There is no way that this is the official difficulty chart, but it's published in Paradise Atoll, so there you go. So somehow, Steeple of Sandy Dunes is the new hardest steeple in Paradise Atoll. In fact, it's actually near peak challenging. And, Steeple of Hallucinatory Spectacles is now apparently mid-challenging. I see. I see indeed. Anybody who has played Paradise Atoll and has gotten to, like, the challenging steeples, you would know very well that a lot of these choices for placements on the difficulty chart, they're just extremely hilarious, and just makes you question how the hell could even anybody come up with these opinions, let alone this being the official chart. It's, probably the worst offender is definitely Dusty Dunes. I thought Dusty Dunes was probably like mid-challenging, and here it is as the new hardest steeple for Paradise Atoll. Oh boy, here we go. So, the Atoll development team wanted to know how the community liked this new difficulty chart, because as we probably do know, and anybody who's played Paradise Atoll knows, this is a very accurate And really good difficulty chart. Like, honestly, it's really good. And if you can't tell, I'm being sarcastic. So it isn't too big of a surprise that the J-Toad team got a little bit bit when around, I would say, about a third, pretty close to a half, said that, yeah, these new difficulty chart placements are garbage. Which, that is the highest percentage of agree to disagree that we've ever seen in this game's history. And, well, it's what happens next that's extremely funny to go ahead and talk about here. So now a question is asked of, what steeple do you think is the worst offender? Now, I voted Dusty Dunes here. However, most of the people do agree that Sodi is the worst offender, which I completely understand. Sodi is probably just as bad, but it's what happens next that is very, very funny. So now, refer to the towers you picked on the last poll. Do you think their placements in terms of difficulty were overrated or underrated? And most people said overrated. And now, I hope you're ready. I hope you're sitting down. The next thing they do is they put the entire list of steeples in the polls chat, asking if the community believed they were overrated, underrated, or just right. Essentially what the J-Toad team just did was do difficulty polls again. Now, for those of you who may remember, a couple months ago, I did a video on difficulty polls themselves, because let's just say Ring 9 difficulty polls did not go very well. And in that video's poll, almost 95% of people disagreed on removing difficulty polls. And upon this video, a couple hours later, the J-Toad team actually decided to remove difficulty polls, and they claimed, we had this system to make difficulty picking more efficient, but at this point, it'd be more efficient, if we picked it ourselves among curators and staff members. Is this more efficient and better than a difficulty pool system? This is even more inaccurate than Ring 9's difficulty chart, for f***'s sake. Sorry for overreacting a little there, but I'm upset. 95% of us didn't want difficulty pools removed, and this is what we get after being told it'd be apparently more efficient. It's rather saddening, and for me, a kick in the gut, because difficulties are very important in my opinion. Because especially when stuff is underrated, and in this case, it's way overrated for the most part, but still, it's rather inexcusable that there's this many overrated stuff. But beside the point, when something is drastically underrated, you get frustrated because it's like, this should be going down and you have no idea why it isn't. And it gets up your nerves. But when it's overrated, you sit and laugh and you go, hey, that's really overrated. That made no sense. But when we're talking about stuff like Desolate Isles being just way off with a great amount of them as well, it's rather funny. And it really makes me think that, yeah, this whole difficulty chartless society, it's not working. It's not gonna work. And I really think the J-Toad staff team needs to bring back difficulty polls again. Because if they literally had to ask the community for opinions again because of their screw-up, they pretty much should have pretty much what we give up. Like, we're done. Now, I do want to state that I'm personally not really mad about the difficulty changes themselves because, well, the J-Toad team is trying to go ahead and fix them. They literally asked us, like, what are our opinions and what do you think is overrated and what do you think is underrated? So it's rather fair and rather understanding of them to go ahead and actually sit down and ask us. But it's like, you literally claimed it's more efficient, and now you're going, hey guys, we need help. It's like, you were pretty much doing difficulty polls. And in this case, anybody can vote. It's not just, oh, you need to make it to this floor. Anybody can vote. So people who haven't even touched these steeples and towers can go ahead and vote and mess with the results. Like, no. Just bring back difficulty polls if you need help. Because the thing is, with Ring 9's issue with difficulty pulls, it was because we're talking about, like, 8 or 9 soul crushings, whatever it was originally. Like, these are 8 or 9 of them. Compared to normal, we'd have, like, 1 or 2. And plus, we're talking about 2 towers as well, only 1 we're being pulled on, that are the hardest in the game. Like, Tower Champions Road, only probably like 20 people legitimately were able to vote on it. When you have a lot of that sample size purposely being funny and messing with the results, well then that's a little bit of a problem, which is understandable, and I do feel like is the reason why the JTO's team kind of decided it's time to go ahead and give up. And the Ring 9 difficulty poll results did not do very well. They just were drastically off. Like, many people were questioning, coincidentally, questionable trials. There were some placements that were rather confusing, like somehow high adrenaline went up. I really personally feel like that was more of a JTO staff team mess up, because I'm sure a lot of people voted low insane, which doesn't mean that it should be, like, actually at low insane rather than baseline. I'm sure that's what most people were saying, so that's a little inaccurate. That was a little bit of a screw-up, so sometimes there is a little bit of a screw-up on the staff end on placements. Bloodthirsty Kinos is weird. Like, basically, what Ring 9 taught us is, for soul crushings especially, difficulty pulls do not work. And when we're talking about Paradise Atoll here, where thousands and thousands of JTO players have the skill to knock down a lot of these steeples, the sample size is just too massive to go ahead and really mess with the results of the difficulty pulls. And if anybody were trying to attempt that, the JTO staff team would know about it. Because how are you going to get, like, hundreds of people, you need even more, really, to go ahead and do the same opinion? It's just not going to work very well. And not also to mention, in this situation as well, this is literally a Zone 1 sub-realm. Literally anybody can come in and play. So, no matter what, the sample size is going to be too big. You really cannot do anything stupid. Now, I do want to go ahead and address something that not many people understand, because a lot of people are sitting here going, how did the JTO staff team believe, like, let's just say, hallucinatory spectacles? How was it easier than Sosis and stuff like that? The reason why is because the JTO curation staff really only play no-clip runs. They don't really play stuff legitimately. They rarely do, from my understanding. When it comes to looking through it, bug testing and stuff, you really only see use no-clip pretty much. And because of that, you get those very inaccurate and off difficulties, which is, you know, rather not good, because then we got to go ahead and do the JTO staff team's actual work and go ahead and actually play the towers and sequels ourselves. And then now we're having to go ahead and actually choose the difficulties for them. So this is how stuff gets underrated. In terms of overrated, I got no clue, Chief, how Sosis was that high up difficult. I'm going to be completely real with you. But I'm not complaining here about the difficulty pulls, the difficulties themselves. I just don't think it's okay for this to continue. And I want the JTO team to go ahead and learn from this mistake. And I want to go ahead and bring out a little bit of understanding, because as I think everybody can probably now agree, difficulty pulls are needed because this stuff doesn't work. So what do I think can be done to go ahead and bring difficulty pulls back to JTO? Well, it is without question that it's the higher difficulties that are bad. Definitely the soul crushings and into remorseless as well. Because you have a way smaller sample size. People are more obligated to be arrogant and very funny and do trolls. So personally, I think that all towers, easy to intense on the original basis, should have public difficulty pulls. However, remorselesses and soul crushing should not. So basically, how it would work is you would have your normal difficulty pulls for easy to intense, and then community opinion is gathered for Remorseless and Soul Crushings, and then the new difficulty chart is posted, and then we see what we're doing now with Paradise Atoll, where we're going, okay, is it overrated or underrated? And then we go from there. Do minor tweaks on everything and whatnot. And in that case, yes, everybody can vote, but at this point, it really doesn't matter. The poll results are pretty much exactly what they are going to be. It's just going to be a minor change, pretty much. So I think that is the best way to go about bringing difficulty polls back to Johto. I really feel like removing them entirely was a bad decision, when literally it was the soul-crushing difficulties that mainly caused the problem, because of the smaller sample size. So that is my approach to not having this happen again, like with Paradise Atoll, not having these really stupidly off results, is bring difficulty packs, or difficulty pulls back for easy to intense, and then Remorseless and above, no more. And then after everything is done, we have what we're doing now, where we go, okay, is it overrated or underrated? And then finally, that is our official difficulty chart for the area. I think that is the best way to get an accurate chart with little to no issues, hopefully. So yeah, there you go. What do you guys think of this new Paradise Atoll thing? Do you think this is a one-off issue that the Johto team isn't going to do again? Do you trust the Johto team to go ahead and do difficulty pulls themselves again? Or do you think that the key should still be handed right back to the community? I've made my opinion clear. I've came up with an idea. If you're a Johto team staff member, I hope you can understand. I'm not mad, I just don't want this mistake to happen again. So, thank you guys very much for watching. My name is Logan ISL. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.